in Colville. I'm a Canadian nature artist. I find during the winter season in January it is difficult to be able to get out and access nature because the trails and the elements can be dangerous. When there's heavy rains, that can, go on the rocks, and you could be walking along a trail, and even though you're careful and you could have the best hiking boots, you can still slip and fall. So that's one big concern. And also some of the elements do damage the artwork itself, the materials that you're working with. So you have to be really careful with that. So a lot of artists do end up confining themselves to being in studio. So, they'll go out during the summer, the fall, and they'll do plein air painting, or they'll sketch. I do watercolors, and then sometimes I transfer those concepts into oil paintings and recreate some of the oil paintings in studio. It all depends. So I wanted to do something that my collectors would be really interested in, and I started looking at the concept of creating geodes and implementing more natural materials into my work. However, that wasn't such a good idea because the biggest concern is using epoxies, and epoxies can be essentially toxic even with light use. So they do provide that clear look that people love. That's why these paintings are selling so much, because people love the look of them. They're sparkly and they're shiny and they're clear, and that's really beautiful on an aesthetic level, but in the reality is that it can be really toxic and harmful. So I decided to stay away from going there, and now more so I'm into, and I did discover an eco epoxy. It was way more expensive, however it took 3 months to dry. It also was very sticky too, so I didn't really like working with that, and the length of the drying time was just too long for my liking. So I decided that I'm going to try Encaustic. So today is day 1 of experimenting with the medium. I am building my supplies to be better equipped studio-wise. So I'm in the process. So I haven't created an encaustic painting since I studied at art college. And this is what I created today. And I used the Daymar resin, which is a tree resin, so it's coming from a tree and not from an animal. So, some environmentalists may get upset, but you just need a minimal amount anyway to work with whatever waxes that you're working with. Some prefer beeswax as a preference, and I also interested in the other waxes like soy wax. Soy wax is maybe a better medium to use. And also there's the castor waxes. There's different types of waxes that you can buy pretty readily available on the market. You just have to do a lot of research. And Encaustic is a very popular medium. I was really surprised while I was researching. There are a lot of artists that get into encaustic as a medium, and it's just as aesthetic and adds value. So I'm experimenting with an abstract today. It kind of looks like lace and the forest, and I just really wanted a more natural feel as to what I'm working with, and you can carve in the wax and do all kinds of cool things with that. So yeah, this is a direction that I'm going into for the time being until the epoxy market can improve, and the epoxies themselves are low VOCs and way more environmentally friendly. So until then, I am going to experiment and look into doing encaustic work. The Egyptians also used encaustic at the beginning of time to be able to mark decorate their burial sites. And so that's when encaustic started being used, was in the ancient early times. So we could come up with some really beautiful art and still keep connected with the earth as to what materials we are using. And we need to use materials as artists and be responsible with the environment, to use materials that have a minimal impact, and be very careful and do your research, do your due diligence to find out what is exactly in those materials, because you can go and innocently buy something and realize that, hey, this stuff has toxic material in it. And I've done a number of workshops on this in the past before, and I've made my own paint using natural materials. There's all a number of videos online about that as well. So yeah, I'm just going into a different direction. I'm not saying that I'm going to do this entirely. I still like to do nature painting with oils and watercolors. So yeah, this is just another change in medium. Well, I'll have a really good day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.